You should always be upgrading yourself, right? You should always be thinking about what's next. And that's why I create the stages, right? If you're at stage 2, for example, as an early career, you might want to think about stage 3. How do you move into stage 3? And if you're already in stage 4 in the leading capacity, right? And you're enjoying the role, you're growing, you're doing many exciting stuff, you might want to think about stage 5, right? Because one day you will reach stage 5. Hope everyone who listens to the podcast will pick up the book. I think there are really a lot of golden nuggets in the book. And it's not just because I wrote the book, it's because there are more than 40 career stories that I put into the book.
Welcome back to another episode of the Limitless Podcast. Today I'm in Singapore and I'm here with a very special guest who I will introduce to you soon. We're going to talk today about his latest book called Jobhunting. And this is written by someone who I met almost a decade ago when I moved to Singapore. Someone who already then was known in the community as someone who was there to servicing his community and doing some great work. So it's with great pleasure today I'm visiting Singapore to have a podcast recording with Ricky Foo. Ricky, a warm welcome to you. How are you?
Thank you for having me. It's wonderful to join this podcast. And I like the title, Limitless, a lot. And yes, we have known each other for almost a decade, so it's a pleasure to join this podcast.
Fantastic, Ricky. So you have your new book out on the shelf?
Yes, I do. It's on the shelf.
Excellent. And before we dig into the book, would you like to just give a bit of a brief introduction to yourself?
Sure. My name is Ricky Foo. Based in Singapore. I'm a partner with Mercuri Urval. Mercuri Urval is a Swedish consulting company, and we specialize in executive search and leadership advisory. So I serve Asia Pacific, and my specialty is mostly with industrial manufacturing companies in this region.
Okay, wonderful work you're doing, and so happy to hear that you have a Swedish head office, right?
Yes, we do, and that's our Swedish connection.
Excellent, Ricky. And the job hunting book then,
yes.
Why did you write this book?
That's a great question. The book idea came when I was turning 40 years old 5 years ago. I wanted to do something big, something interesting, and I chose to work on a book. And the title Jobhunting came about because I'm in the line of headhunting. We are commonly known as headhunters. So I thought it would be interesting to write something for the job hunters. So I coined the word job hunters, coined the word job hunting. And I didn't expect it to take 5 years to complete the project. And that's how I decided to work on the book.
Fantastic, Ricky. And I remember indeed talking about this during the pandemic.
That's right.
And, you know, there's a lot of people out there who say, I'm going to write the book. It's perhaps on most executives' bucket list, but it's very few who actually go ahead and do it. So first of all, a big congratulations for completing it. And I just want to also ask you, you know, what was your methodology? Did you interview people? Is it based on your story? Or maybe you can paint a picture. What can we expect in the book?
When I started, I was just writing, let's say, short articles, right, as to get the muscles going, to bring my ideas to fruition, right? But as in the early months, someone suggested to me that I should interview people. I said, that's a great idea. My job, my day job is to interview people. And I was turning 40, so I decided, let's do 40. Without knowing that 40 is a big number. In the end, I ended up with 45 interviews. And so the whole framework that I built in the book is based on the interviews. I interview a range of professionals. My only requirement is that I do everything face-to-face. Some of the interviews actually happen in this room, the tail end. So you could say that the book is based a lot on real-life career stories. My stories are inside as well, but that is not the main leading part of it.
So it must be a lot of work to do so many.
That is true. It's a lot of integration, synthesizing to bring everything together.
Yeah. And who is the book for? Who's the reader?
I would say it's everyone out there who is what I call a job hunter. So you can be in early career stages, right? Your first 10, 15 years. You are what I call in stage 1, discovering, or stage 2, mastering. Or you might be in a mid-career phase, right? Many people want to change in the mid-career. So that's how I lay out stage 3, transforming. Or when you're ready to step into a leadership role, and therefore stage 4 is leading, right? For many late career people, and I interact with many of them, many CEOs and executives belong to the stage 5. they want to go into what they call a renewing stage, right? They want to extend their career. And last but not least, I'm seeing more and more people who want to look beyond the standard retirement age. And therefore, you need to find something to reach fulfillment. And therefore, stage 6 is what I call fulfilling.
Wonderful. I believe personally that the book is really filling an important gap because so many executives out there are dedicating their life to the company they work for. I did the same. And then one day I was just let go. I didn't even have an updated CV and it was a disaster. I was in panicking, and it was before ChatGPT and so on. So I had to write the resume from scratch, and it was quite overwhelming. Having just been let go, losing my income and everything else, now I have to start by writing a CV. So I wish I would have been more proactive. And having read your book now myself, I recognize that it's that proactive approach that really stands out there, right?
That's right. Effectively, I want to introduce the term job hunting as not a single activity. I believe every job hunter, you should be in job hunting mode, right? You should always be upgrading yourself, right? You should always be thinking about what's next. And that's why I create the stages, right? If you're at stage 2, for example, as an early career, you might want to think about stage 3. How do you move into stage 3? And if you're already in stage 4 in the leading capacity, right? And you're enjoying the role, you're growing, you're doing many exciting stuff, you might want to think about stage 5, right? Because one day you will reach stage 5. And it's better to be prepared than be caught off guard like a retrenchment. Most people are not prepared for retrenchment. They think that my job is secure, I've been 20 years with the company, I'm growing a good paycheck. But today, many things are unpredictable. So it's better to be prepared for the unpredictable stuff.
I really like that, because even in my book I wrote Executive Loneliness. The last chapter is called Have a Plan B, but that means really to be ready for that day to be retrenched, because when I look back at my life, it was the 2 times I was retrenched that really knocked me over. So I wish I had your book before this happened, but now it's filling a very important gap, as I said. And you talk about the 6 career stages. Maybe you can just briefly talk us through those.
Right, and as I mentioned about the 6 career stages, right, in stage 1, discovering, is where students and young professionals find out what they are good at doing. And this is a stage of exploration. You can try different jobs, you can take up internships, pursue your passions, right, or learn from different people. And as you move into stage 2, which I call mastering, that is when you need to really find something to specialize, to spend time, to invest time. The concept of 10,000 hours is not exactly new. Whether it's 5,000 or 10,000, I don't know. But it's important that you have skills that are better than others, so you gain mastery. Stage 3 is called transforming. That is when change happens. And change can come in many forms. Some forced, some proactively driven by you. Taking up an MBA, doing additional education is one path, or going into entrepreneurship is another path, or switching from engineering to maybe a commercial path is also some of the transformation that can take place. I even have people who switch from engineering sales to become a private banker. It's a more drastic stream, but it's possible. And stage 4 is where I call it leading. And leadership is not just being a senior executive. There are only so many CEOs or CXOs in the market. Leading to me is when you can lead others, you have followers, you mentor others, you train others, and you can be a specialist and still be in the leading stage, right? And that applies for entrepreneurs as well, because by default, you need to form a team, you need to lead others, right? And stage 5 is renewing. To me, renewing is a very critical stage for people who want to extend their careers, to go beyond, let's say, retirement age, right? So you need to find things to renew, change your identity, build your next career, and that could be going into some kind of consulting, coaching, or something. Some people do a startup by the late stage as well. It's possible, right? And last but not least is fulfilling. I don't like the career to end with retirement or like being obsolete. To me, finding fulfillment is very important, and many people successfully find fulfillment when they plan for it, when they have mentoring activities, when they are giving back to society, when they are teaching in universities. These are just some examples. I think we can be creative as we live longer, healthier, and we can remain active. So that is how the 6 stages play out.
Wonderfully explained. And as I read your book, I was quite inspired reading about the 10,000 hours rule. And I was reflecting on my book. What are the 10,000 hours I've done? And then I was reflecting on my triathlon journey.
Exactly.
And it took me, like you said in the book, right? It's typically a decade, 10 years. And that's what it took. 10 years of me to do triathlons. And about 10,000 hours, then I qualify for the World Championship.
Well done. If you really go back into the research by Ericsson, Swedish, it's not the 10,000 is not an exact number, but it does shows that you can't do it within 1,000 hours. So I would say you can draw a range. Maybe it's 5,000 for some people. Maybe it's for some people it's 15,000, but it takes time.
And then in your book, you're also referring to the 4 Ps. And so perhaps for the marketers, they wonder, well, yeah, we know the 4 Ps and so on. But how does the 4 Ps then translate to job hunting?
Firstly, the 4 Ps idea is not new. I borrow it from marketing. The concept of 4 Ps is essentially I equate every job hunter to be a product. Okay, and you need to know your product very well, and that's where the first P, product. You need to conduct R&D on your product. You need to have unique selling point proposition on your product, right? You need to have a competitive advantage. You need to conduct SWOT analysis. So to me, the first P is the most important for a job hunter. The following 3 Ps, pricing or price, is linked to salary. Many people assume that salary always increase. It is not true. It can go down because it's a supply and demand process, right? The market pays for certain skills and competencies. The market may make certain jobs obsolete. So the price can go up, it can come down. And many people, you face stagnant in your salary simply because it's no longer in demand. You just need to be recognized there, right? And the third P, place. This is where you find products, and therefore I see that as the importance of network, right? I got to know you through EGN, which is Executive Global's network. To me, the network, external network is very important, but the internal network for many corporates are equally important. You need to build relationship within a company, right? And these days, besides the offline network, where you can meet for a coffee, meet for a lunch, is also the online network. Online network is mostly driven by LinkedIn these days. You need to build an online network. Right? So that's how I talk about place. Last but not least, is promotion. Many people equate promotion today with putting up a lot of interesting posts on LinkedIn. Yes, that's important. That is for your online network. But don't forget, promotion is also about giving speeches on stage, participating in panel speaking, doing thought leadership. The most important thing is don't be shy to talk about yourself. Many executives are too busy doing their work, they forget to talk about themselves, and that is the most important to really understand the whole 4 Ps.
Thank you, Ricky, for laying that out. And there's quite a few industries being heavily disrupted now by AI. We see jobs going away, and I know there's many executives, perhaps in similar age like us, 40, 50, around there, who are worried that will my job be gone? And maybe they have a dream from younger years that they should transition into another industry. Is that possible for someone age 50, and what should they do?
I believe it's highly possible, but you do need to invest a good amount of time. First, you need to know what you want to transit into, and maybe you want to conduct some experiments, try something out. Like, I'm very impressed by how you set up all this filming equipment. I know this wasn't your skill set just 1-2 years ago, but today I see that you're an expert. So it's possible. And when you look at AI, while there's a lot of disruption, there's also a lot of opportunities. It's about learning how to tap on AI. Look at the jobs that require the human intervention, right? A lot of things still needs humans to decide, humans to interact. So while there is a lot of fear that AI may take away jobs, my excitement is to look at opportunities that AI can create and make humans more effective and more efficient.
I love your positive take on it, and that also links us then to the podcast today, Limitless. So,
yes.
Ricky, you're someone who I know been resilient, you've been fighting through, and I know that your business, like many others, was heavily disrupted during the pandemic, but you come out of it stronger. Today, when I came in and visited your office, there was double the amount of staff compared to the pandemic, more than that even. So congratulations on that. And that limitless mindset, any tips to any of the listeners? What's the secret there?
That's a great question. Let's go back to the pandemic times, right? That was quite difficult, especially for our industry, in the search industry, because we are predicting as a company that business might fall by as much as 40%. That is huge, right? And therefore, we immediately have taken cost-cutting measures of like 30%. So I had to remove a staff. That was painful because the staff was only hired just 12, 18 months ago. That was very painful my first time. But post that action, I was very clear that this is an opportunity. I need to do things that people are not doing. I need to build new relationships, and I need to just keep innovating and thinking differently. And that's what I've been applying for the last few years, right? Just thinking differently, doing different things, right? So today, the team expanded. I'll give you an example. Last year, we hired 4 new senior executives. And these are people that we know, partly thanks to EGN as well. A few of them came through that network of EGN. But it's also that I'm exploring how can I hire executive coaches with a CXO experience. And we managed to do that. We started from 1 became 2 became 3, and became 4. And they have already, just last year, brought in a good amount of revenue to our team. And that's because we were experimenting, right? We're willing to try new models, and that is still very relevant to our business. And I believe that for people to remain limitless, we need to keep trying. We cannot stay still. We need to look for new opportunities, and we need to just keep learning from mistakes and then do it better next time.
Fantastic. That's forever learning, growth mindset has never been more important. And we live in an era where creativity and drive is super important. It is challenging out there. And all we can do is believe in ourselves and keep trying. And as you shared today, also to build our networks and be proactive in our job hunting. So Ricky, anything I forgot to ask you? Any final message or anything to the readers? It's been wonderful to talk to you today and about your book, Jobhunting. Anything last message to the reader?
I hope everyone who listens to the podcast will pick up the book. I think there are really a lot of golden nuggets in the book. And it's not just because I wrote the book. It's because there are more than 40 career stories that I put into the book. I even include my dad in the book. and because there's so many stories, you will find something that you can connect with and you can find inspiration from it. My aim is that this book will inspire as many people as possible and give them a structure to plan their career, right? And not be caught off guard by surprises. There will be many surprises in the decades to come. We need to prepare for them. And the best thing to do is to prepare yourself and make yourself a better product. Price it competitively, be there at the right place so that you can be seen and be known. And last but not least, promote yourself in the right way. And I believe that my hope and dream is that every job hunter can find fulfillment. And that's what I wanted to leave to everyone listening to this podcast.
Thank you so much, Ricky Foo, for having come on the Limitless podcast today. And to all the listeners, indeed, I can recommend you all to go out and get a copy of Jobhunting. Thank you, and bye for now.